Let's be real. A lot of men out here are getting emotionally played like it's a video game, and they don't even know they're holding the controller that's not plugged in. You think she cares about you because she texts you back. You think she loves you because she says, "I miss you," after 3 days of ignoring your calls. You think she's loyal because she hasn't officially done anything wrong. Yet. But here's the truth. Just because a woman is around you doesn't mean she's with you. Some women don't care about you. They care about the benefits of being around you. The attention, the validation, the money, the emotional support, the safety net, the boredom relief. It's a hard pill to swallow, but it's the truth most men refuse to accept. Why? Because deep down, you want to believe that her presence equals love. You want to believe that her saying, "I'm just going through a lot right now," is a valid reason for her to treat you like an option. You want to believe that giving more, doing more, and waiting longer will eventually win her heart. But that's not how this works. That's not how she works. In this video, I'm going to teach you how to separate real care from convenient affection. How to stop falling for the sweet words and start paying attention to the quiet actions. Because if you don't learn this now, you'll keep pouring your time, money, and energy into someone who wouldn't even cross the street if you were hurting. This isn't about being bitter or angry. It's about waking up. It's about seeing reality for what it is, not what you hope it becomes. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to tell if she genuinely values you, or if she's just keeping you around until something better comes along. Let's get into it. 1. She likes the attention, not you. This is one of the most common traps men fall into. A woman who loves attention will make you feel like you're special, but only when she wants something. Not because she truly values who you are, but because she craves the feeling of being wanted. You're not a priority, you're a source of validation, comfort, or entertainment. She might text you, "Good morning," just to see your reaction. She might call you babe in public, but disappear when it's time to actually show up for you. She loves the feeling of being chased, but the second you stop chasing, she's gone. Not sad, not confused, just gone. Here's how it works. When she's having a bad day, she suddenly wants to talk. When her favorite guy isn't giving her attention, she remembers you exist. When she posts a story, she's waiting to see your name in the views. It's not you she misses. It's what you give her. Attention, energy, validation. Now here's the part that stings. She knows you care, and she uses that. She knows you'll reply fast. She knows you'll compliment her. She knows you'll be there. So she gives you just enough to keep you around, but never enough to move things forward. Want to know if this is you? Try pulling back. Don't text first. Don't compliment her. Don't chase. See what happens. Here's what usually happens. Nothing. She won't fight for you. She won't ask what's wrong. She'll just fade out. Because without your attention, she has no reason to stay. Let's say you're always the one texting first. Always making plans. Always initiating. 1 week, you decide to stop. Just to see. 3 days go by. No message from her. Then a week. Still nothing. But as soon as you post something interesting, she reacts. Comments. Slips back into your DMs like nothing happened. That's not love. That's not care. That's someone addicted to attention. Yours or anyone else's. Know the difference. Or you'll keep giving your heart to someone who only wants your eyes. 2. She's emotionally unavailable, but still keeps you around. Some women will tell you they're not ready for a relationship, but they'll still act like your girlfriend. That's not honesty. That's manipulation wrapped in soft words. She says things like, "I just need time," or "I'm still healing," or "let's not rush things." But at the same time, she doesn't let you go. She calls you when she's lonely. She flirts with you. She lets you invest your time, energy, and feelings without giving you anything solid in return. She's emotionally closed off, but physically and mentally. She keeps the door cracked open, just enough to keep you coming back. Here's the trap. You think if you're patient, she'll eventually open up. You think your consistency will win her over. You think, if I just keep being there, she'll see I'm different. Wrong. She already knows you're different. That's why she keeps you around. Because you're safe. Because you're available. Because you care. But she's not choosing you. She's just using your presence to fill a temporary void. Now here's the key sign. When you try to take things deeper, emotionally or relationally, she pulls back. The moment you ask for more, even something simple like clarity, she shuts down. Gets confused. Says, this is too much. But somehow it's not too much when she needs support. It's not too much when she wants comfort. It's not too much when she's bored and wants someone to talk to. Let's say you've been talking for months. You've shared personal things, had late night calls, been emotionally available. One day you ask her, what are we doing? Where's this going? She says, I don't want to ruin what we have. Or, I'm just not ready for anything serious. But a week later, you see her out with another guy, laughing, flirting, looking ready. That's your wake-up call. If a woman is truly emotionally unavailable, she won't entertain anyone. She'll isolate, heal, work on herself. But if she's unavailable only for you, but still entertaining others, that's not healing. That's stringing you along. Don't confuse emotional unavailability with emotional control. One is honest, the other is a game, and you're not here to be someone's emotional convenience. 3. She gives you bare minimum effort. You ever been in a situation where you were doing everything, and she was just there? You planned the dates, you made the calls, you remembered the little things, you showed up. And she? She gave you the bare minimum. Maybe she replied to your texts, eventually. Maybe she showed interest, when it was convenient. Maybe she said she cared, but only after you reminded her how much you did. It's a one-way street. You're pouring. She's sipping. And the crazy part is, you start to think it's normal. You convince yourself that maybe this is how women are. Maybe you're just doing too much. Maybe if you just scale back, things will balance out. But deep down, you know that if you stop trying, the whole thing would fall apart. That's not a relationship. That's a performance. And you're the only one on stage. When a woman really cares, effort isn't forced. It's natural. She finds ways to make you feel valued, even in small ways. She checks on you without being asked. She pays attention. She gives energy, not just responses. But when a woman is only half interested, her actions reflect it. She doesn't initiate. She doesn't plan. She doesn't show up consistently. And somehow, you still feel like the one who's failing. You start overthinking everything. Did I say something wrong? Maybe she's just busy. Maybe I'm expecting too much. No, you're not. You're just dealing with someone who wants the benefits of a man's attention without putting in the energy to earn his respect. And let's be real. This low-effort behavior is getting normalized. A lot of men are stuck in situationships where they're carrying all the emotional weight, all the effort, all the risk. And for what? So you can feel like you have someone, even though you're constantly unsure if she even sees your value. You don't need someone who needs to be reminded to care. You don't need someone who treats your presence like a convenience. You need someone who shows up fully, consistently, effortlessly, because the bare minimum isn't love. It's disrespect disguised as, I'm just not expressive. Stop settling for crumbs just because you're afraid to be alone. 4. You're her backup plan. Let's be honest, bro. Some of you are not the main character in her life. You're the fallback, the safety net, the just in case. And deep down you feel it. You sense that something's off. She's not all the way in, but she won't let you walk away either. Why? Because you're plan B. She gives just enough to keep you hoping. Just enough to keep you thinking. Maybe one day. But that one day never comes. Because she's not building with you. She's stalling. Keeping you around while she explores other options or waits for something better to show up. Here's the part that hurts. You allow it. You let her treat you like a placeholder. You see the signs, but you ignore them because you're afraid of starting over. Or worse, you think being available and loyal will eventually make her choose you. It won't. You don't win by waiting in the shadows for someone to finally see your worth. You win by walking away the moment you realize you're not being chosen. Too many men waste years chasing a woman who already made her decision. She just didn't tell you yet. You're not confused. You're just ignoring what's right in front of you. You always make time for her. But when you need her, she's busy. You're the one checking in, asking how she's doing, making plans, being supportive. But she's non-committal, distant, hot one day, cold the next. And you think that if you just stay loyal, if you just keep proving yourself, she'll finally lock in with you. That's not love. That's you abandoning your self-respect in hopes of earning attention. Wake up, man. If she really wanted you, there'd be no mixed signals. No guesswork. No confusion. A woman who truly cares won't risk losing you to figure things out. She won't keep you in limbo while she heals, explores, or thinks. She'll choose you, clearly, consistently, and confidently. So stop being the backup plan hoping to become the priority. Because the longer you stay in that role, the harder it'll be to remember you deserve to be first, not just the one she settles for when everything else falls through. 5. She never invests, only receives. There's something off about a connection where one person is always giving, and the other is always just there to take. Some of you are stuck in this cycle. You give your time, your energy, your money, your attention, and in return, you get breadcrumbs. Maybe a compliment here and there, maybe some affection when it benefits her. But when it comes to her putting in effort, she's always empty-handed. No reciprocity, no real investment. She expects you to listen to her problems, but never asks how you're doing. She wants you to show up for her, but somehow always has an excuse when it's your turn. You pay, you plan, you push, and she just receives, like it's your job. And what's wild is, some of y'all think that's love. You've been told that being a man means sacrificing everything without expecting anything in return. But that's not love. That's slavery to a fantasy. Love requires effort from both sides. If she really cares, she's going to contribute. Maybe not financially, depending on the situation, but emotionally, mentally, with time, with presence, with thoughtfulness. But if every time y'all link up, it's based on your resources, your schedule, and your initiative, then you're not in a partnership. You're in a transaction, and she's cashing out while you drain yourself. And here's the truth. Most men don't want to hear. You trained her to be that way. You rewarded her lack of effort with more effort. You overlooked her inconsistency and gave her more consistency. You kept chasing when she stopped moving. So now she knows. She doesn't have to give anything. Because you'll give everything. You've got to stop thinking that being the provider means tolerating imbalance. Provision without respect turns you into a servant, not a man she values. A woman who's really into you will match your energy. She'll call, she'll check in, she'll offer help, she'll do small things that show she's present, not just benefiting. If she never invests, but always expects, you're not loved, you're used. And once you see that clearly, you can finally stop pouring into someone who's just holding out a cup with no intention of ever filling yours. 6. She disappears when you need her. It's easy to be around someone when everything's going great. When you're smiling, when you're paying, when you're showing up. But the real test? It's when you're the one going through it. When life punches you in the face. When you hit a rough patch. When you finally need someone to lean on. That's when you find out who's real and who's just riding the wave. Some women are only present when you're useful, when you're strong, when you're entertaining. The moment you're not at your best, they vanish. No messages, no check-ins, no comfort, just silence. And what do? You make excuses for her. She's probably just busy. She doesn't know how to deal with emotional stuff. Maybe I shouldn't burden her. No, bro. You're not a burden. You're just seeing the truth for what it is. She only sticks around when it benefits her. You've been the strong one for too long. The one who always keeps it together. But the second you slip, The second you open up, she goes cold, detached, disinterested. And yet, when she's going through it, you're the therapist, the support system, the rock. That imbalance isn't love. It's convenience. You need to stop confusing presence with loyalty. Just because she was there during the good times doesn't mean she's built for the storm. Some women don't have the emotional maturity to handle a man who's human. You're allowed to have bad days. You're allowed to struggle. You're allowed to need support. But if the person you've been investing in emotionally can't even acknowledge your low moments, much less stand by you, you're not in something real. You're being used as a service provider. You give strength. She disappears at the first sign of weakness. That's not a partner, that's a seasonal visitor. And the hardest part? You probably saw the signs early, but you ignored them because you wanted it to work. It's time to stop bending yourself to be useful and start asking, who's really there when I need someone? If she disappears when you're down, let her stay gone when you rise. 7. She avoids deep conversations. You can talk to her for hours, but somehow you don't really know her. It's all surface level. Jokes, flirting, what she ate today, who annoyed her on Instagram. But the second you try to take it deeper, she dodges, deflects, changes the subject. And you feel it. You feel like there's a wall. Like she's close, but not really letting you in. A woman who cares about you, really cares, will want to build something real with you. And you don't build anything real without deep, honest conversation. That's where connection lives. That's where trust grows. But if every time you try to talk about something meaningful, your goals, your pain, your values, your feelings, and she shuts down, laughs it off, gets tired, that's not connection. That's avoidance. You're trying to open doors, and she's busy locking them. And don't confuse being talkative with being open. A woman can talk all day and still tell you absolutely nothing that matters. She can share stories, spill drama, and keep the convo going without ever getting vulnerable. That's how some women keep you emotionally engaged without ever actually committing anything real. And here's what happens to you. You start doing all the emotional heavy lifting. You start oversharing, over-explaining, trying to bridge the gap. You start hoping that if you're just more patient, she'll eventually open up. But she never does. Because she's not building. She's entertaining you. A woman who truly sees you as someone serious won't run from depth. She'll be curious about your mind, your past, your beliefs. She'll want to connect on more than just the physical or the playful. She'll give honest answers. Ask real questions. Create space for truth. If she avoids that and keeps things light, shallow, and low effort, it's because she's not emotionally investing. And if she's not emotionally investing, there's nothing real to grow from. You're stuck in a cycle of laughs with no foundation. Don't stay in a connection that's built on silence where depth should be. Don't build with someone who won't even meet you at the level you're offering. If she can't go deep, she's not ready for real. 8. She uses intimacy as control. Let's talk about something most men feel but don't want to admit out loud. She gives you intimacy, not out of love, but to keep you in line. It's not about connection. It's about power, control, influence. She knows exactly what she's doing. Some women use physical affection, compliments, and closeness the same way a dealer uses free samples. Just enough to get you hooked. Just enough to make sure you don't leave. And once she sees you're emotionally attached, she starts to ration it. You feel it. When things are good, she's warm, flirty, affectionate. But when you speak your mind, set a boundary, say no to something, suddenly she's not in the mood. Suddenly she's cold, distant, closed off. She's not punishing you with words. She's punishing you with silence, with withdrawal, with rejection wrapped in subtle behavior. This isn't about sex. This is about control. She turns intimacy into a reward system. Do what she wants. She's sweet. Question her behavior. She pulls away. And the more emotionally invested you are, the more power she holds. You start walking on eggshells. You stop bringing up things that bother you. You stop being honest because you're scared to lose the little affection she gives you. You start negotiating with yourself. It's not that bad. She's just stressed. It'll get better. Meanwhile, you're being trained like a dog. Good boy gets a treat. Bad boy gets ignored. And this is the part where most men stay silent. Because we're taught to just be grateful for any attention. To not complain. To not expect more. But hear this clearly. Intimacy without emotional safety is not love. It's leverage. Affection that disappears when you disagree isn't real. It's manipulation. A woman who truly cares doesn't use closeness to control you. She doesn't use her body or her emotions to keep you quiet, obedient, or dependent. She shows up consistently, not based on whether you're pleasing her, but because she actually wants to be with you. No strings attached. Stop mistaking control for connection. And don't ever let someone turn affection into a currency you have to earn by staying silent. 9. She tests your limits, not your love. Some women don't test how much you care. They test how much you'll tolerate. There's a big difference. A woman who loves you doesn't constantly push boundaries to see how far she can go without losing you. But a woman who's unsure about you, or worse, doesn't truly respect you, will test your limits just to see if you'll fold. She'll ignore your calls just to see if you'll still chase. She'll disrespect you in front of others just to see if you'll check her. She'll make passive-aggressive comments, disappear when it matters, cross the lines you clearly set, all while watching how you react. And here's the worst part. Every time you let it slide, she loses more respect for you. She might smile. She might play it off. She might even say, "You're such a good guy." But deep down, she knows she's running the show. She knows she's calling the shots. And she knows that no matter what she does, you'll stay. And that's where you start losing yourself. You stop setting boundaries. You stop speaking up. You stop expecting the bare minimum of respect. Because you're too focused on not upsetting her. You start shrinking yourself to avoid conflict. But let me tell you something most men don't realize until it's too late. If a woman keeps testing your limits, and you keep failing to enforce them, you're not building love. You're building resentment. You start feeling used, disrespected, trapped. But you won't say anything because you think love means holding it down no matter what. Wrong. Love is not built on silence. It's built on standards. And if you don't set any, she will keep pushing to see where the line really is. If she keeps doing things she knows hurt you and watches you stay, that's not a test of love. That's a test of your self-worth. And if you keep failing it, she'll keep raising the stakes until one day you don't even recognize yourself anymore. So stop letting things slide in the name of keeping the peace. Start making it clear. Love doesn't mean being passive. Love means being respected. If she's only testing how far she can go, not how deep she can grow with you, she's not for you. 10. She talks about us, without acting on it. She says all the right things. I see a future with you. You're different. I really care about you. We're just taking it slow. Sounds good, right? But where's the action? You're stuck in this loop where the words are deep, but the behavior is shallow. She paints a beautiful picture with her mouth, but she builds absolutely nothing with her hands. And too many men fall for it. Because words are comforting. They feel like progress. You hear us, and your heart lights up, thinking you're finally getting somewhere. But the truth? If there's no consistency behind her words, there's no us. If her actions don't match her promises, it's all just noise. She might talk about trips you'll take together, but never makes time to even meet your friends. She might say she wants commitment, but still keeps her options open. She might call you her man, but doesn't act like your woman. You keep holding on because of what she says, even when everything she does is telling you otherwise. And here's the brutal truth. A woman who talks about love but doesn't build it with you is using words to buy time. She doesn't want to let you go, but she's also not ready to go all in. So she talks just enough to keep you hopeful, just enough to stop you from walking away. And every time you hear her say something sweet, you convince yourself to stay just a little longer. She wouldn't say that if she didn't mean it. She's probably just scared. She needs more time. No. What she needs is accountability. A real connection isn't built on poetry, it's built on patterns. Repeated, consistent action over time. If she can speak beautifully about us, but disappears when it's time to show up, then she's not building a future. She's just protecting her comfort. Stop letting pretty words distract you from ugly patterns. Stop chasing potential when there's no progress. Because in love, words are cheap, and time is expensive. And if you keep wasting yours on someone who only talks about love, you'll miss the one who's actually ready to live it. Let me leave you with this. If she can sleep next to you, talk about love. Enjoy your money, your time, your energy, and still not choose you. Then you were never the man she respected. You were just the man she used until she found the one she really wanted. Yeah, I said it. And some people won't like hearing that. But the truth doesn't care about your feelings. And as men, we've got to stop confusing access with value. Not every woman who's close to you cares about you. And not every woman who says, "I love you," actually means it. So now I want to hear from you. Drop a comment and tell me your story. Have you ever felt like you were being used, tested, or strung along? No judgment here. I've been there too. And I read every comment. If your story hits, I'll reach out. Let's talk like men. Let's build something real in this space. Because this isn't just a video, it's a wake-up call.